Hello, and welcome to another Practical Pond product review. We have now given 5 reviews specifically on pond skimmers, and I know that some of you wish you could have a pond skimmer, but due to your situation, for example, a pre-existing concrete pond, it just doesn't seem practical. If that's true for you, today's Practical Pond product review is just for you, as we're going to review 2 in-the-pond skimmers. So let's get practical. Last episode, we spoke about a very affordable external pond skimmer by Pond Boss, and I encourage those with light pond budgets to contact me for the best price. But sometimes price is not the biggest obstacle blocking a person from adding an exterior skimmer to their pond. Though I think every pond should have a skimmer, just this summer, I set up filtration on a client's pre-existing concrete pond without a skimmer because the pond was completely concrete, small, and had no easy way for me to add an external skimmer. A person also would not generally be able to use an external skimmer on a preform pond, a holding tank, a stock tank, or a portable pond, and they might not want to add an external skimmer if a pond or skimmer application is temporary. Today, we will review 2 skimmers that can be added to just about any pond without putting a hole in the liner or re-engineering anything. And skimmers that could certainly be moved along with a portable pond or transferred from one pond to another easily if that were necessary. So first, let's review the Iwasa Swim Skim. Now, just to give you an idea how this works, there's a flapper here. There's a pump built inside this skimmer. This skimmer floats on the pond. These are your floats that keep it afloat. And right out here, the pump is ejecting water. So that's going to cause circulation in the pond. The water comes out the back, and there is a directional flow thingy-bob here that you can change around and move to make the flow go exactly where you want it to go. There are also little fasteners on the bottom so that you can attach an anchor rope, because obviously you don't want the swim skim swimming around the pond. You want the swim skim making the leaves and debris move in your pond and come into the skimmer. So you float this, simply add it to the pond, but it is helpful and necessary almost to use an anchor rope to make the swim skim stay in one place. Then the water simply comes in across this flap and into the skimmer. It's sucked down through, drawn down through a perforated basket, which we'll show you here. This is the basket that you would pull out to dump your leaves and get rid of the debris. This is how the skimmer works. There is also underneath the perforated basket a little sponge to protect the pump and as a secondary cleaning device. And so that's how simple this is. It simply floats, the debris comes in, catches in the leaf basket, the water comes out the back causing circulation, and this floats in any pond. So what are the pros and cons? Well, obviously one con to this skimmer is it's limited in capacity. This is a relatively small leaf basket as leaf baskets go. In fact, that's a very small leaf basket as common leaf baskets in skimmers go. It's visible in the pond. Obviously, if it's floating on the surface in the pond, you've got an anchor rope, you've got a cord to the electric, and so there's going to be some visual issues there in the pond. On the pro side, it's extremely easy to add to a pond. I mean, once we took it out of the box, it took us a few minutes to figure out how to put it together. Then you're ready to go. Plop it in the pond, plug it in. It also is another pro of this Swim Skim skimmer by Iwasa is that it's an alternative to the traditional pond skimmer that's permanently added to your pond. It's extremely affordable. The price point on this is very low, or very reasonable in my view. And it really doesn't take up a lot of space, whether you're talking about storing it during the wintertime or in the pond itself. Doesn't take up a lot of space at all. Just so happens that both of the in-pond skimmers that we have to offer are both by Iwasa. So now let's look at the Iwasa Aqua Skim. This is how it works. In this case, you have this tray on the bottom of the skimmer meant to be filled with rocks or gravel. 4 to 6 inch river rock would fit in here, gravel would do a good job, and that's going to both hold down the skimmer and keep it in place and help hide the base in the bottom of the pond. You'll see this plumbing fixture sticking out the side. That is to thread on an adapter and put tubing or piping on this straight to your pump. With the Aqua Swim Skim, the pump was included. It was internal inside the in-pond skimmer. With the Aqua Skim, the pump is not included. This is set up to be used with your own pump of your choice. But it does need to be a pump that has the ability to plumb the water right into the front of the pump. This is not, you don't want to use this with a pump that just draws the water generally from the pond or only draws the water generally from the pond. You need to be able to attach the pump to this Aqua Skim to the front of the pump so that the pump is drawing the water in through the skimmer and to the pump. Now, this sitting on the bottom of the pond, and you're able to adjust. There's an adjustable ring here, and you can slide the telescoping main body of the skimmer up and down. Whoop, I didn't tighten it enough. So that you can use this skimmer in different pond depths. According to the manufacturer, about the minimum depth in which this skimmer can be used is about 15 inches. And the maximum depth in which this skimmer can be used is about 43 inches. And so that gives you an idea how adaptable and flexible this is in terms of water depths in which it can be used. So obviously you set this to the right height for your pond. And when I say to the right height, I don't mean exact, I mean within a reasonable bounds, because this skimmer also has a floating weir. We've talked about floating weirs before, and the fact that this has a floating weir means that as the water level changes, as the pond evaporates, or as you add water to the pond, this floating weir has some flexibility, about 6 to 8 inches of flexibility here, within which it can tolerate a change in water height. And then beneath the floating weir, you have the leaf basket. Again, we see that this is a cute little basket, so obviously if I'm using the expression cute little, it has a limited capacity. And the basket sits right inside the top of the skimmer. The water flows over the floating weir, the debris catches in the basket, the water continues down and is drawn in by your pump. That's how it works. The cons of this skimmer. Well, first of all, it is very limited in capacity. And again, like the swim skim, it's going to obviously be visible in your pond. The pros, however, again, this is extremely easily added to your pond situation without having to cut a hole in anything or make any adjustments. It can be used in all kinds of different small ponds. This is not generally something I would use in a large pond. But it does allow you to use it in a small pond, and it's very flexible in that way. It offers an alternative to needing to be able to fit a traditional external pond skimmer onto your pond. It's also very affordable. A couple other features I should mention. The flow rate of this skimmer needs to be between about 1,600 and 4,200 gallons per hour. Generally, you would be using it with a submersible pump in the pond. I don't suppose that has to be that way, but it's generally how it would be used. And I would like to see it used with a dual intake pump. Iwasa makes a dual intake pump that will draw water from the general body of the bottom of the pond, as well as allow you to fix plumbing on the front so that it's drawing water directly in the front of the pump. In this way, you can have both skimming action and drawing from the bottom of the pond as well with one pump. So to recap, as a pond installation professional, these internal skimmers are not something we use often. We're usually designing a pond from scratch and we're building a very high quality professional pond. But for the homeowner with a problem to solve, the Aqua Skim and the Swim Skim may just provide a viable alternative for you in certain kinds of ponds. So I wanted to let you know about them. After all, this is practical garden ponds. In our next episode, we're going to talk about what kind of tubing to use when building a pond. In the meantime, it would be great if you would subscribe to our channel, like Practical Garden Ponds on Facebook, and check out how to save money with all of your purchases with us. We also welcome your specific pond product questions, and we will be happy to review any product we sell with the honest intention to discuss both the pros and the cons of every item we review. Thanks for watching.